People make the big mistake of thinking that they need to own a resource in order to start a business. And that's why they're looking for all these huge amounts of capital. You see somebody who has never started a business before, and they're telling you they need 100 million naira. They need 1 billion to start a business. And sometimes I can't help but laugh, because it's actually laughable. You do not need to own the resource most times. What you need is access to the resource. I don't need to buy the 20 hectares of land. I need to rent it for 1 year, see if the business works, or if I'm very confident, I lease it for 5 years. Leasing 20 hectares for 5 years is far cheaper than buying 20 hectares of land. You don't need to own the land for the crops to grow. The chickens that you want to raise will not ask you if you own the land or not before they start laying eggs. What you need is access to the land. To use the land, you need access to use the land. So you don't need all that money to buy the 20 hectares. All you need is either to rent or to lease it. The same thing applies to equipment and machines. You don't need that amount of money, the 40 million or 50 million, to buy harvesters and tractors and all that. You can rent them. You can do pay-per-use. So whenever you need to harvest, you hire and you pay them for the time. Or you can lease it for some time. Leasing and renting is far cheaper than owning equipment. And it doesn't just stop at ownership. Ownership comes with other burdens and pressures. If you own something, you have to maintain it. You have to be responsible for the repairs. You have to be responsible for the upkeep. That's not something you want to do as a new business that should be preoccupied with making sales, getting customers, and making sure cash is flowing into the company. You don't want to be bogged down with buying spare parts and all those other things. You lease and use. Will it be more expensive per unit of product? Yes. But the goal for a business is not to own when you're starting. The goal is to get access so that you can use the land, use the equipment, use the machines, use the car. Why would you tie down 15 million to buy an SUV when you can rent a car depending on when you need it? You can rent per day, you can rent per ride. It's far cheaper. And all that money that you're saving, you can use it to do other important things. What are you owning the vehicle or the equipment for? Now, this may not apply to all kinds of businesses, but for most businesses, you have no business owning. What you need is access. Why? Access is cheaper and more flexible. And these are the two critical things you need as a business, because you are not yet making sales. You're not yet making enough sales. You need to save as much money as possible. I've seen instances where people spend a lot of money building things and buying things that are unnecessary. And now that the business has started, they've run out of cash. There's no cash to do business anymore. They cannot buy goods. They can't pay salaries. Now that they found out what they need to do to market and sell the product, there's no money. Why? That money has been sunk on buying land, buying property, buying equipment, buying cars. What you need is access, not ownership. I hope this point is very clear.